Guys, good morning. Happy Saturday. It's Daryl here. It's 4 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. I'd like to talk to you guys about this statement that I've made recently, that I will never, if you're a Trump supporter, I will never date another Trump supporter. It's a deal breaker. Absolutely not. I'll date a Republican, but not a Trump supporter. Let's talk about that. First of all, I think you guys understand the difference between a Republican and a Trump supporter. I'm very happy to see groups like the Lincoln Project, the 45 alumni, I think it's called project, or 43 alumni project, the former Bush supporters, people that, and then Republican voters against Trump. That's a big one too. Glad to see those. I don't have a problem with those. Like I said, I voted Republican before. I'm independent. I vote Democrat. It depends who the person is. I agree with some things. I agree with other things. All right, but anyway, I will never date another Trump supporter. Let's talk about Trumpism, the cult of Trump, what a Trump supporter is, and why I'll never date one. To me, within the last 3 or 4 years ago, Trump came on the scene. And I believe Trumpism, the cult of Trump, is a negative person, a person who feels he's been wronged, who's not happy with life, not happy with his job, not happy with his marriage, I don't know, just not happy in general. A person who's always gauging themselves against other people. The other people, they shouldn't have that. I should have more than this person. I work harder, I deserve more than this. My family's been here longer. I'm more white, I'm more American, I deserve this or that. It's always gauging themselves, always unhappy, always feeling like their little slice of the pie is smaller than somebody else's and it should be bigger, or, that's a Trump supporter. Trump supporter is somebody who wants to express, who is tired for, like, say 5 years ago, when Obama was in office, it was more of a positive hope and inspiration type atmosphere. And I think these Trump supporters still existed back then, but they felt like outcasts. So their anger was seething underneath. Their envy, the greed, the anger, the envy, the unhappiness with life would just be seething underneath the skin level. And then Trump came on the scene. And they were elated because they could just let the hate out, the anger out. And, it's like, great, now I could say whatever I want. I could do whatever I want. Screw everybody. And that was this explosion of Trump supporters. Let the hate out. Let the negativity out. I could say and do. It doesn't me first, America first, white people first. That's all that matters. Me. I could let it all out. That's Trump. That is Trumpism. That's a Trump supporter. Basically, it's white Christian America that feels like they've been shorted somehow. I think it's a lot of people that just were that. To me, when Obama was elected, I voted for Obama twice. I loved it. I felt so lucky to be alive when a black person was elected as president of these United States. If 50 years ago, if you would have said, there's going to be a black president, or a woman president, which would come first? People would have probably said a woman president. I felt lucky to be part of that. I thought it was great. We're moving beyond color. What a great time to be alive. That's how I felt. And I felt good for African American people. Good for them. That now I felt like we're getting closer to being all equal. And that's a good thing for everybody, in my opinion. I'm getting goosebumps just talking about this. All right. I think some people, though, I think the Trump supporters kept their mouths shut. And I think this is what it was. During these years of Obama, there was a seething racial thing going on with these people that now support Trump, where they didn't like what was going on, but they didn't feel like they could talk about it because most of the country seemed of that mindset, that great, the Obama years. So the Trump supporters kept their mouths shut. They felt like they were the minority. Then Trump came on the scene, and this anger exploded, this negativity, this selfish, greedy, me first attitude, America first, white people first, this whole atmosphere. Okay, that to me is a Trump supporter. Why will I never date a Trump supporter? I tried dating a Trump supporter previously, and I found, to me, Trump supporters, they seem compassionless. They seem to be lacking compassion. To me, it's a character flaw. It's not a political stance. 20 years ago, having a wife that's a Democrat and a husband that's a Republican was common. Now, if you read in any media, here on the internet or in newspapers or anywhere, that there's a much higher divorce rate amongst your Trump supporters and your non-Trump supporters these days. I will never date another Trump supporter. Like I've told you guys before, I can't go along with the character. To me, it's a character flaw. I talked about, I think it's called Resolution 69, where Trump's made it legal to go in, I think in Alaska, I don't know if it's in Colorado, but Alaska, you could hunt and kill hibernating bears and their cubs, stuff like that, or the environmental stuff. The stuff with the national parks, with the deregulation of pollution controls, making school lunches less healthy, the way that Trump treats women. One of the biggest ones too is one of the biggest ones is I could not date, I couldn't fall in love, I couldn't look into the eyes of somebody that called themselves a Trump supporter, because the first thing I would think of is this person is okay with Trump making fun of mocking the handicapped reporter. Again, you guys know I've talked about this before, and I'm not just saying this. To me, that was a huge moment in my life when I saw that. When I saw this man mocking a person born with birth defects. He was making fun of the way God made this person. And not only that, he was encouraging, he was doing it to be admired and to get the entire crowd to laugh with him at a person with birth defects. What kind of person would do that? And what kind of person would support somebody like that? To me, that was a moment where I could never support Donald Trump again. It was one of the most evil, disgusting things I've ever seen a human being do. And a lot of Trump supporters these days will say, well, I didn't agree with that. Or that was back before he was president. He's a different person now. Well, he's a great businessman. He's done great for the economy. That was a different thing. It's just him. He was making fun. He wasn't serious. Lighten up. Don't be a snowflake. I'm sure handicapped people don't mind. It's a joke. No. He was using the way God created this man to hurt, not only to inflict pain on this person, this handicapped person, but he was encouraging that entire auditorium to join in inflicting pain on another human being. What kind of person does that? I can hear my voice cracking as I talk. To me, that it was a moment for me. And now, whenever I see anyone wearing the MAGA hat or talking about how they support Donald Trump, the very first thing that goes through my mind is this person is okay with that. This person is an excuser, an enabler. This person will make excuses on why. Well, that wasn't good, but I still support Donald Trump. He's good for the country. I don't support that, what he did, but no. That's like saying you support a Satanist. It was wrong. It was wrong. And to turn a blind eye to it, to make excuses for it, to pretend it didn't happen is wrong. Just flat out wrong. I'm not saying I'm a saint or anything, but it's inexcusable to me. It's not something I could have on my conscience. I couldn't, I couldn't be with somebody. I can't be with somebody that can ignore, that could make that okay and make an excuse for that. Or Colin Kaepernick. The person I was dating at the time hated Colin Kaepernick. This was one of the reasons I broke up with this person after 3 years, after living with this girl for 3 years. That was a big part of it. The way she felt about Colin Kaepernick. She felt he was just he was a wealthy black guy just trying to get attention, and she didn't get it. And I tried to explain it to her. Thing is, too, in this previous relationship that I had with a Trump supporter, I didn't bring up, I would avoid political conversations. Maybe that was a mistake. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe we should have aired our differences more. I thought it'd be better because I felt very strongly and she felt very strongly. She came from a whole family of Trump supporters. This is another reason I didn't feel comfortable. This is another reason why I'll never date another Trump supporter. It was like I was going into an encampment of the enemy. I felt like there was me and there was everybody else. I remember standing there about 3 years ago at Christmas time, and I heard the parents, the grandparents, everybody laughing. They were all saying, Trump's gonna schlong Hillary. Trump's gonna schlong her. What that meant, I'm not sure. But they're all laughing, and I could see them look over at me. And these are good Christian people that go to church, and they're talking about laughing. Trump's gonna schlong Hillary. Now, later on, one of the family came up to me and tried to make excuses. Tried to tell me what schlong meant. Well, it's just an expression. It's not sexual or anything. It's not, it's not what you think it is. It's just, just a joke. I'm no saint, but these aren't people I admire. These aren't people I respect. That's the bottom line. I'll date a Republican. A Republican's no problem. These are people, Trump supporters are people with deep moral character flaws, in my opinion. So I think I'll do more videos on this because I can see I'm running long already and I got so much more I want to talk about. And I know when I've made videos about dating Trump supporters before or marrying Trump supporters, they've gotten quite a few views. So something I think I'll talk about more in the future. And it's played a huge part in my life. I didn't even get to the part, and I will have to make another video because I didn't even get to the part right now where I've talked about recently putting it flat out in my dating app that I will not date Trump supporters. It's a deal breaker. So that'll be the next video. So I am going to make more videos to talk about this. You guys have a good Saturday.